We are here now, joined by a Wills Point native, Major League Fishing angler, my man, Jeff Sprague. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, I apologize for that, guys. I was driving and my phone is hooked and the technology wouldn't let me, and I had to jump out of my truck and take off running away from my truck so I could get on FaceTime with everyone. So my sincere apologies to that. Technology is better than me, but I'm happy to be here and share some stuff with you guys today.
Well, where are you at right now currently? Are you just on the side of the road in a random city?
That's it. Side of the random road. I actually pulled off the main highway onto a little county road here. Hope I don't get run over, but that's just part of it. So but we've had some really awesome fishing here recently, and really big deal in the fishing community. So I appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with us about it. And man, what a blessing it's been.
Well, and that's what I want to talk to you about. I want to ask you about this fishing event this past weekend, the Bass Pros Shops REDCREST event over at the Table Rock Lake in Springfield, Missouri. First off, before we start talking about the event, have you fished this lake before, Table Rock Lake, and what are your thoughts about it?
I've been on Table Rock a few times throughout my career, and what's really a cool backstory about me is my great grandfather told me that my family sold our farm, and some of that farm is actually underneath the water at Table Rock Lake. So a lot of history goes back to my whole family there, although I obviously was way before my time. But what a really cool story to be able to say that. And then, we were there in Springfield, Missouri at Bass Pro Shops, the main headquarters. We did everything there. Johnny Morris was out. We had lead singer of Rascal Flatts was out there with us. We had a lot of really cool things go on. And then we had the event, which is a 3-day major tour event. It's our championship where we fish for $300,000 in the World Championship of Bass Fishing. So that is really cool. And, to be honest with you, it's an honor to participate in that, but you have to earn your way to be there.
Well, and you have earned your way to be there, and you performed well there. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I was looking at it on Friday, and you were down in the standings there, so I was worried about you there. But you caught, I believe it was 15 fish on day one, and then 18 fish on the second day, and that really propelled you. That 45-pound day really propelled you up into fifth place to reach championship Saturday and fish there. So tell me about your time on the lake and kind of what went into those qualifying days, and then I know you didn't perform like you wanted to on the championship round, but those first two qualifying days, tell me about how the lake was and how the fish were biting that day.
Table Rock Lake's a phenomenal fishery. It's full of bass. Here in Texas, we're very blessed. We grow bass really big. So you talked about how tight the weights were. Well, the weights were tight because the fish are all similar in size, right? A lot of 2 to 3 pound fish in that range. They don't get real big, so you can't make a lot of movement with just one bite, meaning like you can't catch a 5, 6, 7, 8 pounder and jump way up those standings. And so Table Rock's a very beautiful lake. And the first day of competition, it was right there. It was one bite outside of the top 10, which is only 2 pounds, but a 2.5 pounder would have moved me into eighth, seventh, eighth place, even though I was in like 13th or something like that after day one. And then day two, I just actually capitalized and caught the fish that actually bit. And it moved me into obviously the top 10 to qualify for that championship round, to have an opportunity to be the world champion.
Well, and I want to ask you too, because I know that I don't know for sure, but I think we're in spawn season or spawn season just happened. So I know that, and I base all my fishing knowledge off Lake Fork. So that's really kind of the only lake that I have to kind of base off of. And I know that Lake Fork is not like all other lakes, so it's probably not fair. But is it the same kind of spawn season for the fish here at Table Rock? And is it just this lake just doesn't produce those massive bass, or is that kind of the style of the lake?
So yes, we're on the very front end of their spawn because they're up in the Ozark Mountains. Okay, it's still cold up there. The last day of the competition, you said I didn't perform the way I wanted to, which is true, and that all stems because it got down below freezing the last night of competition. The whole deck of my boat completely solid frosted over, was really cold, and when that happens and it's a spawn season, those fish are up in the shallow water, then that really hurts them. Basically, it pushes them back. Like they're like us. We'd pull the blanket up and we would stay in bed. Well, instead of being up there shallow water, they just leak back off the bank and go back out to the deeper water, and they vacate those areas. And so that's one of the reasons, the main reason that, it didn't work out in my favor, the championship round. But that's bass fishing. And, I shucked and jive and fished a lot of new waters and tried new techniques to try to really relocate those bass. And that's what we do as professionals, is we try to, we try every technique that we know to try to trick those fish into feeding. And so, but nonetheless, it is the very front end of their spawn. If you haven't been there, Table Rock's a phenomenal fishery. You can go this time of the year from now for the next month, and you can potentially catch 50, 100 bass a day. Yes, there's a tremendous amount of bass, smallmouth, largemouth, spotted bass, meanmouth. They're all there. Now that lake is 100+ feet deep and way deeper. So those fish, they feed differently. We have a very good stocking program in Texas with Texas Freshwater Fisheries. We have great genetics here, pure Florida F1s in a lot of our fisheries that allow those fish to get bigger. But when the lake is that deep with that much vastness, those fish swim a lot. So it's like, those are like runner fish, like, if you make sense, like they're athletes. They constantly swim. Where our bass, at Lake Fork, they'll post up on a stump. They're couch potatoes. They'll eat once, and then they'll sit around for like a week or 3 days and not eat again. So they just put on all that weight and they get bigger. And their genetic is like, hey, you're built to be big. You're big boned, or way, for lack of better words. So therefore they're a bigger fish. Doesn't make it less fun because you can catch a tremendous amount of bass. And fun fact about Table Rock Lake is there's more shoreline on Table Rock Lake than there is shoreline in the state of California.
Wow, that's
Yes.
a tremendous fact. Especially when you think of how big California and the coastline is, that is
Yes.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, look,
Yeah.
I didn't expect a fun fact from you, Jeff. Now that's what I came here for, is the fun fact. The fishing's good, but the fun facts are what I come for.
Hey, I'm full of useless information, Kyle. Anytime.
I love it. I love it. Well, that ninth place performance at REDCREST won you over 14 grand, and it moved you up in the Angler of the Year standings. You're sitting in ninth in the Angler of the Year standings right now, too, I believe. So, how has this season gone for you so far? I know it's been the first time we've talked this season. So, how has the season gone for you as a whole?
The season has been very steady. It's been good. I haven't had any breakout. No wins, there's 0 wins at this point this year, but I've led a couple of events. Led Guntersville the very first event of the year, and then secondly, we did that again at another location. It's just, my mind is drawing a blank there, but we've had a lot of good success. And so therefore, like you said, anytime that you're inside that top 10 in points, that is crucial. That is where you want to be to qualify again for the REDCREST, like we just fished, which is the biggest payday in bass fishing. Our heavy hitters events, which I won that last year with big bass, where you can win one bass is $100,000, and then every day is like one's a $30,000 bass, one's a $50,000 bass. So to put yourself in those positions and be consistent is what anglers strive for, and I'm very blessed to be in that driver's seat right now.
It's funny hearing you talk. These numbers aren't mind blowing to me because I'm used to talking fishing. But Hannah over here, every time you're mentioning the money that can be won at these tournaments, her eyes are just bugging out. And I'm like, yeah, this fishing and working at the radio station too, and covering those fishing tournaments, and just seeing all the tournaments at Lake Fork and how much money when Sealy Outdoors would come there and Bass Champs have all those tournaments there, and the amount of money that's on the line in these tournaments is phenomenal. It's awesome, and it's a good gig, but it's not easy. Like, a lot of people think you're just out there and having a good time. It's not easy. It is a lot of hard work, though.
It really is. And then, in the prestigious level that we're at, there's only 30 guys that go to the heavy hitters events. So you have to qualify to be there. And then there was like 35 of us that went to REDCREST to fish for that 300,000 there. And then everybody gets paid to go, obviously. And then same with heavy hitters, you get paid to go, but you get the opportunity to win the big money, and those are extra events that there's no entry fee to that. It's just us. And it's a small field of guys who performed at an elite level the year before. So you get the invitation. So to be able to be included in those and qualify for them says a tremendous amount about the year that you had prior to. And so our 25 season was really strong, top 10 in points there, and then which qualified us for both REDCREST and heavy hitters again, as well as cup events that will be coming up this fall that we do made for TV that everybody loves and watches so much in the off season. Man, I'm just a big kid living a dream out here, and able to just support my family a little bit with it, and I'm just blessed, and I really am. And to be able to share it with you and make friends along the way means a lot to me.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a pleasure getting to talk to you and getting to know you and call you a friend. He wished me a happy birthday, Hannah. Not many people get happy birthday wishes from a professional angler, so I
So
mean
sweet.
that's pretty awesome. Hey, I want to ask you about coming up next for you. I believe it's the Yingling Light Logger Stage 5 over at Beaver Lake in Rogers, Arkansas. Have you fished that lake before, and what are the expectations going into it?
A lot of fond memories at Beaver Lake. So FLW was the previous organization that I fished with that merged with Major League Fishing, and they invited us over. They invited the top 15 guys to fish Major League Fishing if you're in the world standings there, and that's why I was invited to go fish. And I made my very first top 10 as a professional angler at Beaver Lake. So a lot of fond memories there. I'm excited to go back. It's changed a tremendous amount. It's probably been 7 or 8 years since I've been there. So hopefully some of those fish grew up. Hopefully some of them forgot who I was and they get amnesia and we can catch them again if they're still alive. But I like the area. Obviously, Rogers Bentonville is where Walmart's home base is, if you're not familiar. It's a very beautiful area. Beaver Lake is a beautiful area. And so it's very similar to Table Rock. I look forward to getting there. I think we'll have quite a good spawn thing going on. So there'll be a lot of fish caught. But if you have never seen Beaver, check it out. It's a short drive from East Texas. You can get there in probably 5.5 hours or 5 hours, get into the mountains, see the beautiful things that are up there. Walmart has a lot of rich history there. And it's just a cool area. It really is. So I'm looking forward to getting back.
Last thing I want to ask you, and I'll let you get out of here. I know we got some weather coming into East Texas area this week with rain and all that. How much does that affect the fishing on the lake? Because a lot of a common misconception, fish are in water. It does, the rain wouldn't affect the fish, right? But it actually does. So can you explain how that kind of affects the fishing? The weather does.
So, absolutely. This time of the year, Kyle, for anyone that's really interested to learn it, the fish are already coming shallow, right? They're wanting to do a few things. They want to feed first and foremost. They want to get food. Secondly, they want to find a mate and or a bed to get on with a girl or a boy, and so they can reproduce, right? And so that's what their key focuses are. This time of the year, when we have weather patterns run through our areas and through anywhere in the United States, really, and it's the springtime, those fish are going to use that as a feeding opportunity. And so when we have these squall lines come through and and it comes and it rains 3-4 inches and the lake shoots up, a lot of times that's the time to be out there. Those fish are really aggressive. They're a full feeding pattern, and they're moving with the water. When the water moves up, a lot of times the bass will move with them. The catfish will move up with them. The crappie will move up, and they're feeding on everything that's running in the lake, everything that's been hit by the rain that knocks it out of the sky, the butterfly, whatever it is, puts it in the water. They eat that. That's their forage, and so they're going to pack on weight and they're going to eat, and they're really aggressive. So if you get an opportunity to get to the water, either during or shortly post, within the next few days after a rain, you're going to have really high success rates, and you're going to be able to, have a great time normally to be out there. You just got to be careful.
That is first class information right there that you could get. So go out after the rain and get some. You now no guarantee, but you should be able to catch some big fish at that. You can't ever guarantee. Jeff, I went out there on the lake one day after I spent about 7-8 hours out on Lake Fork, and I didn't catch nothing. And so you can't ever guarantee a catch when you're out on the lake, but you can always guarantee a good time when you're out there. That's for sure.
That's why that's why when you're an adult and you have a Keystone Light, you have a good time.
Amen, brother. Hey, Jeff, we appreciate you so much for joining us and hopping on here today and talking to us. We're going to keep up with you next weekend over at Beaver Lake in Rogers, Arkansas. So we'll keep up, or I guess next weekend. We'll keep up with you then, and hopefully we'll talk to you down the road, my man. Be careful out there.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you having me on. Follow along at Jeff Sprague Fishing on Instagram or Facebook. And look, love you guys. Thanks for having me, and thanks for all the coverage, not just for myself, but the other anglers that you do. We've got a lot of really cool, things going on in East Texas, and we produce some really great anglers and sports athletes as well. So you guys are awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jeff. Be careful out there, man.